Hello, and we are back again with the Shopware 6 Quickstart. Oh wait, you need some camera image here. Right, this is the second part of the Shopware Quickstart livestream due to technical difficulties. This is actually a new livestream, but the topic continues, of course, from this morning. Just a heads up, this is a live stream, but it will be recorded. So you will be able to see the recorded version, or maybe you are right now seeing the recorded version. What we're doing today is we will be getting you up and running with Shopware 6. Shopware 6 is the new and coming product from Shopware. You may know Shopware 5, or I hope so, which is our stable and reliable and tested version. And now we have a development preview of an even more awesome technique, which is called Shopware 6. And the first part of the live stream was about installing Shopware 6 so that you have a development environment where you can do stuff in. And then we looked a little bit into theming as it is right now. There will be more about this in the future. And as soon as there are any breaking changes or anything like that, cool new features, because it is no way feature complete right now during the development preview. So yeah, there will be a new live stream. And then this will be recorded as well and will replace the old live stream. Okay, so I hope everyone found the way to this new live stream and can now, sees now what he wants to see. Yeah, my English was better before. Okay, anyway. Shopware 6 documentation is your main entry point for all things Shopware 6. We have the developer documentation here, and in the Getting Started installation guide section you can find the installation. There are system installation guides for macOS or Windows and macOS. This would be the Vagrant VM, just to get you on the level in case you didn't watch the video this morning. Okay. So now I want to guide you through a plugin, and I do this so that you can see all the little things that are necessary to change the behavior of Shopware, because of course this is what we want to do with a plugin. We want to add or change behavior. I already have a running Shopware installation. This runs in a Docker container. This is why I'm named application at some obscure host. And inside the checked out development template, I have a platform folder. So the development template, just as a quick reminder, when you go to GitHub, oh no, that's not how you write GitHub. GitHub and then Shopware. There you can see is the platform, and the platform itself is Shopware. Shopware is a dependency for your project, so it's a vendor dependency. But of course, if it is a dependency of something, a dependency of what? There is a development template right here at GitHub Shopware Development, and this is a Symfony project template. And this Symfony project template is now aimed at developers. In the future, there may be different ones, like one for production servers, so that you can use Git to set up a production shop and pull in Shopware as a dependency, and of course your plugins as a dependency as well. Okay. Now I will be using PHP Storm again, so in case you're using a different IDE like, I don't know, Visual Studio Code, NetBeans, Eclipse, whatever there is, feel free. I will be using PHP Storm. Makes things easier for me. Okay. Now let's get to one level. Right, there is no plugin. Great. And this is the base folder here. This is the development template and the cloned platform. The platform, as I said, is a vendor dependency. For development, still be included here, so that it is there for your IDE. Speaking of the IDE, one moment. Yeah, go away. Okay. Great. Now when we take a look at the current state of Shopware, we have this platform folder, and there's the source folder. And now we have different subfolders. That is because the platform repository is actually a mono repository. And in the future, not right now, but in the future, it will be split up into multiple repositories. Administration core, docs, and storefront will then be split into read-only repositories that you can require independently in your project. So there may be a headless template where you don't have an administration and you don't have a storefront because you don't need it, for example. Okay. Now, the core is one of the more interesting things for you as a plugin developer to look into, since the core contains, unsurprisingly, the Shopware core. The plugins, again, they live somewhere else. Oh, I tried to move it, sorry. It's in the custom plugins directory. Now, as I said before, so if this is the first video you watch, hey, I'm saying it the first time. Shopware 6 is Symfony based, and it is basically Symfony full stack. We are not using Doctrine ORM, although this is Doctrine and Symfony, but yeah, we are not using Doctrine ORM. And we do some stuff to make plugins part of the system that is hot reloadable and stuff like this. But for the main part, it's Symfony full stack. So if you know Symfony, you will feel at home with Shopware 6. And the other way around, if you don't know Symfony, you definitely should learn it because it's standard technology, today at least. Okay, so as I said, I have a running Shopware, so I can start up my Chromium. I'm using this for Shopware because in the administration right now there are some difficulties with Firefox that's a browser that I'm using normally. So this is the storefront. There is some product showing listing going on here, and you can add stuff to the shopping cart or look at some product details. Pretty basic standard shop stuff, right? Things you do in a shop. Then we have the administration. Admin. And there we go. Username is admin. Password is Shopware. Okay, great. We have a Symfony debug bar. You may know this. It will come in handy later. I just hide it for now. And in settings, system, plugins, you have a rudimentary plugin manager that is not done yet, but there are some things that already work. You can log into your Shopware account, stuff like this. You have a Shopware store, but then again, this is not integrated yet. It just links to the Shopware store on store.shopware.com. Okay, you can upload a plugin here. This is not what we are doing today. Today we will be downloading one from GitHub, just to show you some things. Okay, speaking of GitHub, there is on GitHub/Shopware Labs. Oh wait, I forgot some letters. Shopware Labs. There you have a lot of stuff. For example, you have PSH. In case you don't know it, you need it in the installation of Shopware 6, which is maintained here. And this is stuff that is supposed to break, maybe. For example, last Friday we did a live stream on, or June 21st, 2019, we did a live stream on German, and the plugin was broken. At the moment, things with Shopware 6 are happening at a fast pace, and things break sometime. Just be aware of that. Okay, somewhere here we have the swag bundle example, right? This is an archived plugin, so when you click on it, you have to click on the next, or you just bookmark this link, swag docs bundle example. And this plugin is documented right here in the getting started, bundle example, and in-depth guide. This is everything about the plugin. This is even more than we will cover today, because this, as I said, this is a quick start. Okay, so more about how you can find resources in the future and stuff like this, because knowledge of today may be changed tomorrow. In fact, it is, because tomorrow something new for the theme system will come live, will be live. Okay, so we clone this in our custom plugins folder, or I do that. Since I'm not logged in, I'll do this with HTTPS. So, and I will do this outside of the Docker container. So I go to custom plugins, and then I just clone this. Oh, it's in my history. Okay. Then I do not have to use HTTPS. Okay, I can use SSH. Okay. In general, when you see this this plugin, take a look at the commits before you use it, because, for example, the last commit is not that old. It's from today, at least from my perspective, from 5 hours ago, and it's very interesting, and you should read these comments when you are a plugin developer, or these commits, at least when they are breaking changes, or your plugin does not work, because in this case it is, yeah, the whole bundle cart processor was more or less changed, as you can see. So something big happened, right? Okay, we won't look through the complete pull request today. We just look at the plugin as it is now. But as a heads up, if you work with plugins and your plugins break, take a look at the example plugin. Maybe there is a commit that is interesting for you. Or you wait for the next live stream. One of the both. Okay. Now, in the plugins I have this SpecDocs bundle example, and I change back inside my Docker container. And I do this with Docker SSH, although there is no real SSH server running. Okay, great. Now I do bin console refresh, so that all new plugins are read in. Refresh. I will show you first what the plugin does, and then I will guide you through the plugin. Wrong command, like that. Okay. Now it found our newly downloaded plugin, and I can go, okay, bin console plugin install, and then -- activate, so that it's just one step and not two steps. And then I copy the name. It's just a bundle example. There's no vendor prefix here for the demo plugin. Of course, in the real world, you would vendor prefix this with your vendor prefix. Okay. And activate, obviously, you write this with a letter C. Activate. Yeah. Okay, it's installed, and now the last thing is we clear the cache. So bin console cache clear. Great. Now let's see what has changed. There we go. In the front end, not that much, but in the administration, now we have a new menu entry called bundle. And there we have a grid, and we can add bundles. Now, I won't add bundles by hand. Of course, you can do this if you want to, but there is a handy command. Bin console, and there we go. Wait a moment, where is it? There. There are two commands. One dumps the bundle configuration, and the other one just creates demo bundles. So bin console bundle demo, and now it created some demo bundles without showing us, but hey, we can just refresh the page, and then we can see the bundles. The bundle names currently are in German. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but it's just example bundle. Beispiel means example. Okay, so there are different types of bundles. You can have an absolute or a percentage discount, and you have to have a discount. That's what bundles are for. And I can edit one of these, and then we have a name, we have a discount, and we have some products that are not shown to me. Hey, awesome. Let's try a different one. Now somehow this did not work as intended. I'm not sure why. Usually you have products here, but the product list is not shown. As I said, it's hot code, but no errors so far. I'm not sure why. Let's try to create a bundle by hand. Am I using Chrome? I am using Chrome, yes. Okay, let's try and create a bundle by hand. Example bundle discount is 22%. Nope, somehow this broke. Okay. Yes, no, maybe. No. Okay, I hope I can show you this in the front end. This is what I just mentioned. This morning it worked, and now something changed during the day, and with reinstalling Shopware, the new commit came in and it does not work. We will change this in the future. The process actually at the moment is that we do changes more often and quickly, and do not care to have the demo plugin always 100% and immediately fitting for the changes. So the plugin is always a little bit behind. In the future, this will be always on the same state, so that the current version of the plugin is working with the current commit on Shopware. But at the moment, we have a little gap there. Okay, so what we have here are some products, and we are lucky there is a bundle product right away. So here is a little bundle on top, and down here we have a tab saying bundle, and this is the example bundle 0. And now there are 3 products in this bundle, and I save 4.5 unspecified. It's of course euros. So above my head, wait a moment, you can see this better when my face is not in the way. Above my head now you can see the cart, and in the cart you have one item that is the example bundle, the bundle we just bought, or we are trying to buy, and you can change the quantity on this, and you can delete it from the basket. And then we have these 3 products that are part of the bundle, which is indicated by this gray box here. And you have down below, you have the voucher or the discount. Now, when I jump to some product that is not part, hopefully, of a bundle, yes, the pen swish, and add this to the shopping cart as well. Now I can see the gray box ends here, and there is the product that we just added. So a bundle in the cart consists of the bundle itself, so you have to have some possibility to add something to the basket. That is not a product. This is the first requirement for the plugin we are trying to build. Well, we are not trying to, we already built it, but you know what I mean. And then as child items, we need multiple new lines with products or a voucher or a discount. So and these are not changeable, so you can't say, okay, I want to have 2 times the fantastic linen, or I don't want the fantastic linen, I kill it from the bundle. That does not work. You have to either buy the bundle or don't buy anything with a discount, so you only get the discount with the bundle. Okay, wait, my face is here again. Hi. Okay, so when we go to the checkout, it's basically the same. I just have to register real quick. Oh well, I'm older than that. Don't create a customer account. Okay. And Germany. Yeah, great. Oh, what was the first entry? Okay. Continue, and then we have, again, here is our card, so it's the same situation basically. If it's displayed in the off canvas card or in the summary or anywhere, it's always the same card. So it's always the same situation. You have one bundle with multiple products, a discount, and that's it. So what we need to do is we need to make a new data type or entity that is known to Shopware that is a bundle. We need to connect this to products, and we need to make a bundle, a collection of products, and we need to have this all displayed in the front end, in the storefront, in a certain way. Of course, we have to do the administration part as well, but this is not part of this quick start, because then it would be a very long start. Okay, great. Oh, and if you just tuned in, this is a one direction live stream, so I'm not able to see this chat and I will not answer to the chat, but I have a very proficient co-worker here that is able to answer some questions. Okay, this is just because this is a format that will be recorded, so that you don't have to sit through the questions when you watch this as a recording. Great, now let's have a look at the plugin. First of all, a plugin is can be created from the command line. So if you start off and you want to create a new plugin, you just go bin console and then plugin create, and then your name, whatever it should be named like. So then you get a skeleton and you can work from there. Okay, so we have a composer JSON. This is always the same. We have a composer JSON, and there is some stuff going on here. First, we have a name. The name is prefixed. Then there is a slash, and then we have a kebab cased name for this. In this case, bundle example. The description is something you can do. You can do there whatever you want. Version, license is self-explanatory. Authors as well. Require. This is an interesting part. We are requiring Shopware platform, so you can't use the plugin without the Shopware platform, and we are telling the version we want to have. So you could say, I want to have Shopware like 6.1.2 when it's out sometime in the future. So you can rely on a certain Shopware version in your plugin in a composer style syntax, or in a composer syntax. It's a composer style, it is composer. Okay, the type Shopware platform plugin is set in stone. You have to use this, otherwise it's just not recognized as plugin and nothing happens. It doesn't even fail, it's just ignored. The autoload section of Composer is as its default in Composer. You have a PSR4 namespace, and this is our plugin class, for example, or our entry point into the plugin, and it lives in the folder source. Generally speaking, you can do whatever you want here, and you can have your completely own folder structure, and you can go wild here. Please don't do it. If you do this, other people will have difficulties, and you will stray away from the Shopware core, do things your own way, and then it's not standardized. And you know, as a developer, that doing things in a default way is something that people in the future that are working on the same project as you will benefit from. Okay, so stick as closely to the Shopware core as you can. Okay, then we have an extra section here where you tell which class is used as the Shopware plugin class. It's the same as the main class in the namespace. So this is basically our namespace that lives in source, and then we have our class that is then our entry point. I just phrased this a little bit wrong, I think. But yeah, here's the namespace defined on top, and then we have the actual class that is our Shopware plugin class. Copyright, label, self-explanatory. Okay, so spec bundle example is our namespace, and it lives in the source folder. So let's have a look at the source folder. As you can see, there's our bundle example class. This is the entry point for our plugin. Then we have some folders that are similar to those that are in the platform folder. And I open up the platform folder, and there the source folder. And you can see we have core as well. Here's core. And we have storefront, and here's storefront as well. Now, there are a few things different because, for example, the resources folder is in the storefront folder, and we have it right here in our source folder. So there, it's a little bit different. The migration folder as well is usually in the core folder. It's in the root here as well. This is because we need it on install and stuff like this. But the core folder then again is similar to the core folder you find in the platform folder. Same goes for migration resources, snippet and storefront. There are some folders that are on the root. Okay, now my monitor just went off. One moment, please. I have to fix something. There we go. It's back again. Okay. Typical situation of did you try turning it off and on again? I did. And it worked to some degree. Actually, I don't have any image right now again, so I will fix this real quick. I will be back shortly. One moment. Okay, and there we are back again. Now I'm looking at my laptop, so it's far away and a little bit lower, because somehow, I don't know, the capture card decided to not work anymore at these temperatures. Okay, so where did we stop? Right, the composer JSON, and then yeah, I just explained the folders. Okay. So let's have a look at our entry point, which is bundle example. And the bundle example, before we look at the uninstall stuff that's going on here, the bundle example is extending from plugin. Now, the question is, what is plugin? Or what is a plugin in the context of Shopware 6 at all? And a plugin is a Symfony bundle with a few changes. Now, when you control click on plugin, then your IDE will lead you to the bundle, to the plugin class that is extending from bundle, and bundle itself is extending from Symfony bundle. So in the end, with a few additions, you are just, with a plugin, you're just creating a Symfony bundle. That means that most of the documentation on Symfony bundles is true for Shopware plugins as well. So if you know Symfony, you will feel right at home. Okay, so now what's going on with the uninstall stuff here? Because obviously the only thing that our plugin entry point class is doing is uninstalling stuff. Now, the first thing is it calls a parent uninstall on context, and context is something that comes from Shopware, from the system, and in this context, obviously there is something that the parent may want to do with it. As we just saw, there is no filled uninstall method in the parent, or actually I didn't really show it, but yeah. These are the lifecycle methods that are available, and for example, we have a uninstall function here, or a method, but it doesn't do anything. So still call the parent function, because you don't know if something in the future may change, and we have to do some stuff in the lifecycle method here. Okay, so, and then the next thing is, and this is basically what safe uninstall was or is in Shopware 5. If the context has the keep user data flag set to true, then don't do anything that is destructive, because the user might want to reinstall your plugin. Okay, and then we get a connection out of a container. You know the container, I hope, from Symfony, but we will look at it in a moment. We get the connection to the database, and then we execute some queries. And these are just queries that drop existing tables, and these are our bundle tables. Now, of course, depending on what you want to do, you will change your structure, your table structure. But as you can see here, we have a bundle product, a bundle translation, and a bundle table. And of course, the bundle product and the bundle translation are just mapping tables. So we have two mapping tables and one bundle table where the actual bundle data is stored. Okay. Now we know how to uninstall stuff, but how do we install stuff? This is easy because we have migrations, and the migration is basically the same, just executed when the plugin is installed. So we have a timestamp here. There is a console command to generate migrations. It does not work with plugins yet. This will be in the future, so that you do not have anything to do with the timestamp stuff. But basically, migration, timestamp, and then some random name is your migration. It's the name of your class, it's the name of your file, and the timestamp you are using in the file and in the class name also has to be returned by the method getCreationTimestamp. You're extending migration step. This is not that interesting for this quick start. And you have an update function. And what this does is it gives you a connection, and then you can do stuff with the database. And this is, again, it's raw SQL. As I said in the beginning, we are not using an ORM. This is just because we are doing things a little bit different than what Doctrine ORM is aimed at. So this is in our context, the DAL we are using is a lot faster, and yeah, so we are not using an ORM. Anyway, even with an ORM, you would do stuff like this, create migrations with things you do to the database. In this case, we are creating the tables, and we have an ID, discount, type, discount in the swag bundle table, so that we can save in the varchar. In this case, there may be better options, but it's an example plugin. So we are saving what kind of discount do we have? The discount itself, it's a double, so some amount. Then we have the typical created at, updated at, so that we know when something happened. That's it. And then we have our swag bundle translation table. There is the swag bundle ID, the language ID, and the name, so that we can translate bundles. Okay, this is a pretty easy, works like this. You have a language ID and you have a bundle ID and a name. And currently we are using UUIDs, so these are binary format. This might, maybe, could be change in the future, possibly, maybe. Currently we are using UUIDs. We are evaluating, as far as I know, that we maybe switch from UUIDs, so binary IDs, to int again. Maybe, could be, but at the moment it's binary. So this is handled by the DAL as well. Yeah, then the name created at, updated at, and some foreign key constraints, so that we have many to many, I think it is. Then we have swag bundle product, which is basically the same. It just connects bundles and products, so that a bundle can have products and a product can belong to multiple bundles. Okay, so far we have our entry point with the uninstallation method, and we have the migration that creates our database tables. And that's it. Okay. Now, the next thing is, in the core, we want to actually make our bundle known to Shopware, right? And we do this in the core content folder. If you take a look at platform core content, we just do this platform source core content. You can see that here is stuff like the CMS stuff, category, product, and stuff like this. And if you look at this, somehow bundle fits. Of course, you can do this somewhere else, but in this case, it fits into content. And before we look at the actual definition of bundle, we have to look at one corner piece that is still missing. And this is how Shopware knows where to look for our bundle. And this is again default Symfony. When you look into the resources folder, you have a configuration folder, and inside of this there is a services XML. And the services XML is where every code related stuff is more or less defined. So this is where the container is built from, the service container from Symfony. So for example, you have this bundle definition we will look at in a moment. And this is a service, and the service is tagged as a Shopware entity definition, and the entity is Swag bundle. And when you define it here in the services XML, then it is known to Shopware. So this is one of the basic principles. If you want to do something with your code, make it known in the services XML. Okay? Fairly easy stuff. Okay, let's have a look at content bundle. There are 3 files, and these 3 files, bundle definition, bundle entity, and bundle collection, these 3 together make the bundle. Okay? The bundle definition first is an entity definition, as it is extending entity definition here. In entity definition, there is a lot of stuff. You can look through this in your free time. What you need to define here is the entity name first. In our case, it's Swag bundle because that's a fitting name for a bundle that is developed by Shopware AG. Shopware AG is German. The AG is a German legal form. Doesn't matter. So Swag is our vendor prefix. Then we have to tell Shopware which entity class we wanted to use, and this is the bundle entity class, which is defined in the second file I will show you. Then we have the collection class. So if I want to have a collection of my entity, what class do I use to build this collection? And this is the third file I will show you. So the entity class is basically the model. So this is the entity class is the class you are working with in your code. So if you want to get a bundle, this is the thing you get. What we do here, and this is important, is the define fields method is basically mirroring the table structure. And this is because, as I said, we do not have a full-fledged ORM for performance and different other reasons. So what we are doing here is we are defining a field collection that mirrors our database. This is not done automatically by looking at the entity, but you have to define it here. This is a little bit of overhead on your side, but it makes the system way smoother. Okay, so you have to return a field collection on this, and in this case it's basically what we defined. It's an ID field with some flags like required or primary key field. Yeah, this is documented very well, so I won't step through this completely, but it mirrors the database table, including the many-to-many association for the products, because one bundle can have multiple products and the other way around, you remember. So yeah, you redefine your table structure here so that it's known to Shopware, and Shopware does not have to look into your database and try to parse everything and stuff like this. So we just tell it explicitly. The bundle entity itself then is the thing that holds your data, or the object that holds your data. It extends entity, and there is just some getters and setters, and that's it. Yeah. Okay, and we have an entity ID trait here. This is fairly simple, but just keep it in mind. There is a trait for the ID stuff because IDs always work the same. And yeah, that's it. You just have to require this, and then it's good. The last part is the bundle collection, and this is even easier. You just extend entity collection, and then you define the get expected class, return the bundle entity class, so that Shopware knows what kind of class you are collecting, and the rest just works out of the box. Okay, so with these 3 files, Shopware knows about bundle. It's in the database because of the migration. Now Shopware basically knows about bundles. So you define this in the services XML. This is the first thing. You define the swag bundle, then the swag bundle translation, and the swag bundle product. And these are all entity definition, all tagged as entity definition. And now you can actually do stuff with it in the code. There is one thing to it. It's the Shopware entity extension. Because the other way around, a product has to have knowledge about, am I part of a bundle? Because I want to ask this way around as well when I'm basically on a detail page. The product has to know, do I belong to a bundle? Now you can't override the product entity definition because this is part of the Shopware core, and there are no hooks or anything in Shopware 6. Okay, this is something to note down. There are no hooks in Shopware 6. Okay, how do we do that? Wait a moment. Not sure if this is the right way around to show it to you, but yeah. Yeah, okay. I show you first how this entity extension is done. Okay. So in our content folder we have a product folder, and there is a product extension. And this is again similar to the platform folder. If you look at platform, source, core, content, product, there is a product entity, there is a product different product collection, and even product events. We won't look at this now, but you can define events, of course. And now we are adding something via our plugin. This is a product extension. And this, of course, this could have been something else from the naming here. From the naming here, genau. There was a little bit of German in there, sorry. From the naming. The product extension implements the entity extension interface. And the entity extension interface had a get definition class, and there we are specifying what we are extending. So you could name this whatever you want, but again, stick to as close to the core as possible. So since we are extending a product, it makes sense to put it in the product folder and call it product extension, so everyone knows what he or she's looking at. Okay, so then we have the extend fields method. This is the other important part. So there you define what or in what way you are extending this product. And you get the field collection. You remember the field collection we had in the bundle here, in the bundle definition. There we go. Define fields, new field collection. And if you extend an entity definition, like you do here with extend fields, then you get this very field collection, and you can add stuff to it. And in this case, we are adding a many-to-many association field with bundles. And now the bundles know about the products, and with this, the products know about the bundles as well. And this is basically it. You just have to add it to the field collection. Okay? Okay. This is in the resources config services XML as well. It's on top here. but it's the first thing that is not an entity definition, but an entity extension. So we don't have to name the entity here. It's just when Shopware collects all entity extensions, it picks up yours as well. Okay. Now, let's stay in the service XML for a quick moment. Here's a console command. We won't go into the console command in detail. It's basically Symfony default, but this is how you would define your console command, and it lives inside of core content bundle. Oh, core content bundle, of course. Command. Okay. The interesting part about this is how it works with data, because this is the demo command that generates data, you remember? Okay. And apart from the default Symfony stuff here, what you can see here is it generates data by creating an array, and then this array is upserted, so updated or inserted, depending on whether it exists or not, into the bundle repository. And this is interesting because you are not required to have a full-fledged object, or you don't need a full-fledged object. You just build your array, and then you fill this into the repository, and everything is fine. So this is again something that speeds things up quite a bit, although it might not be the things that you are used to. But yeah, deal with it. It has its advantages. Okay. As you can see, there is a lot of other stuff going on. The thing here is, wait a moment. Okay, there are different things going on. For one, we have this this bundle cart processor. The bundle cart processor is actually running to calculate your bundles, because the bundle itself just knows what products are in this bundle. But then you still have to get these products and calculate these, okay? This is what the bundle cart processor does. The service type here is just spec bundle. This is our bundle repository, and this is what it gets as an argument, and then it gets the price calculator and stuff like this. And then we tag this as a Shopware cart processor and as a Shopware cart collector. So both with a priority. The product processor is at 5,000, so we inject it before the product processor, so that we can add our products to the cart, and then our products are calculated with the rest of the products. So in this case, because these are processors, they are called, because of the tag, as soon as something is calculated in the cart, or process or collect. So there are different, it's not exactly events, but let's call it this for the moment. There are certain events that you can subscribe to, and then it's called a no. There is no comprehensive list of this at the moment. Now there are real events as well. We will get to them later in detail. This is for one, the product page criteria subscriber. This is an event subscriber that is used to actually change the data on the page. So when there is a bundle on the page, I want to inject it. Basically, this is what this is used for. And then we have the snippet files. The snippet files are default, or not default. This are, oh well, no, it's default. Default texts that are bundled with your plugin, so that you can have translated text in your plugin. Okay, so the first thing we will look at is the bundle cart processor. But before we do this, there will be a short 10-minute break, as we do it every hour. And then we will be back in around 10 minutes with the bundle cart processor. And we are back again. Welcome. Okay. Now we want to have a look at the bundle cart processor. So for this we go to core, check out bundle cart processor. So core, check out bundle cart processor. This is one of the core things in Shopware 6 as it is in Shopware 5 as well, because working with a cart is always something important. Now, this is one of the breaking changes that took place from the version that you know from the SCD, the Shopware Community Day, because before this was in the bundle cart processor, it worked a little bit different. So this may be one of these parts where you now get knowledge that you do not have in case you already did something with a plugin. Now, we are implementing two interfaces here. The first is the cart processor interface, and the second one is the cart data collector interface. And yeah, these are not that big. It's just a process method for the cart processor that gets a lot of data and expects nothing. And then we have the collector interface that is just a collect method and again expects nothing. Okay, so how do we work with that? First, we define a little bit of constants here. This is just for our convenience, so that we don't have to redefine this stuff. First, what type are we? We are swag bundle. Then we have a discount type. This is swag bundle discount. Our data key is swag bundle dash, and we have either an absolute or a percentage discount, and we are saving this as a constant so that we are always using the same strings. Okay, then we have our bundle repository that we will need later on, as well as the percentage price calculator, the absolute price calculator, and a quantity price calculator. Then we have the percentage text rule builder as the last part. Okay, so all of these are more or less the arguments that we get. Because just as a heads up, in the services XML, these are all the arguments that we get. And here you can see what you get exactly, and you can look into the source if you want to. These are all parts of the Shopware core, except for the bundle repository here. This is our own. The rest is from the Shopware core and it's from the cart. So these are all things that we get from the cart and that we can work with. Okay. So we set this so that we are aware of what we are working with here in the constructor. And then there is the collect method. The collect method again is one method that is executed at one time. And later on the process method is called. Okay. And this collect method is called for basically all registered processors. And then the process method is called for all registered processors, and this is independently. So the object is destroyed between the call of these two functions. This is important. That means in the end that when you have a call to the collect method, you can't save anything as in a variable and then use it later on in the process method, because in between the call to these functions, your object is destroyed. But fear not, we have some ways around this. You can of course save data. Okay, first you get the cart data collection in here in the collect function. Then you get this cart, which we call original because this is the cart that we get from the system. Then we have the sales channel context, in case you were not here when we did the first half of this live stream or the video. Sales channel context holds all the data for the current sales channel. A sales channel can be either a headless sales channel or a storefront sales channel, and this contains tags and what customer group and stuff like this. So everything that is needed to display stuff on the front end, and it's more than you would have in the back end. There are, for example, you can calculate prices with this and stuff like that. Okay, and then we have, as the last parameter, cart behavior. Now, first we save these bundle line items, and for this we get line items and then filter them by our type, and our type here in the content is swag bundle. Now, what is a line item? Sorry, my throat is a little bit yeah. What is a line item? In Shopware, a line item is anything that is a line in the cart. So this could be a voucher, a product, a discount, or anything that you can think of that belongs in a cart. For example, a bundle. Okay? So everything that in the end creates a line in the cart is a line item. This doesn't have to have a price or anything. For example, the bundle itself has no price. It just has products that are associated. And to get all bundles that are currently in the cart of the user when we are collecting data before the cart is displayed, we filter these and save this. So that in this case now in the line 75 we have all bundles that are in the cart, and these are only the bundles, no products yet. And then in line 78 we count these, and if there are no bundles we just return. So of course there can be carts where no bundle is included, obviously. Okay, what we do next is we fetch the bundles from the line items. So, and with a fetch bundles function, this is below here, we get a line item collection, a cart collection data. So we give them all these context, and what we expect is a bundle collection. And the bundle collection is this, you know, from the bundle definition down here. So the bundle collection is really just that. It's a collection of bundles that we get here. And how we do this, how we collect the bundles, we first get the bundle IDs from the line items. The line item itself it doesn't have that much data. Normally it has an ID and maybe something else, but generally it's an ID and maybe an amount or something. So this makes the whole cart thing very fast when you add things or when you remove things or stuff like this. It's just this very few data sets that you have and nothing is calculated yet. So that makes the cart very fast. Now, as we collect the actual bundles from the line items, we get the bundle IDs from the line items, then we create this filtered array, then we go through these bundle IDs, and then if data has, now what data is we look at in a moment, if there is this bundle already, then we just continue, otherwise we add this to the filtered array. And then we associate this with the products, or we get the products for this as a criteria. And then we search the bundles and return them. Now, since there may be other bundles already in the cart that are already in there, if this makes sense, we have to check if the bundle is already there. So the data is the cart data collection. And this is where we can save data, basically. And what we're doing here is we check if there is a data or data key. This is defined up here, swag bundle dash, and then with the current ID. So for example, swag bundle ID 1 or whatever it may be. And then if it's already there, the data is already collected, so we don't need to edit or to fetch it again. Otherwise, we create a new criteria, and this criteria is something that is used with a DAL. So if you have a look where this lives, the criteria is down here in the data abstraction layer. And this is basically a way to restrict your searches in the database. So with the IDs, we now say, okay, we want a criteria, only give me these IDs. Then we add the association of products, and then we search for this criteria and return the bundles. That's basically it. Okay. Now back on top. Right. So now we have our bundles, and then we iterate over these bundles, and we set into the data, we set these bundles. And this is the same data that we just checked for, if they are already present. Okay? So if they are already present, this would not be added again here, so that when we iterate here, we only get fresh bundles, so to say. And then we set these fresh bundles. Right here, we get the data key, the ID of the bundle, and the bundle itself. So now every bundle basically comes from the database into our data set. Then we say, okay, the bundle line item is our original card, get the bundle ID. And if there is no bundle line item, we continue. So this means that it can be the case that when you have a line item in your cart, it could be deleted. Okay, so we make sure it is not deleted by someone. If so, we just continue. If this bundle line item is in there, then we enrich the bundle, we add the missing products, and we add a discount. And this process again is split up into different methods here. And enrich bundle is basically this. We get the label for the bundle and we set the label. We are just talking about the bundle right now. And what we do then is we set this removable. What this does is explained real quick. The bundle is removable. The products are not. The bundle can have different quantities. The products in the bundle can not have different quantities. And this is what happens here. By default, an item in the cart, a line item, cannot be removed and cannot be changed in the quantity. You have to set this to true for each item, and this is why we set removable and stackable true here. Then we add delivery information, and in this case we add a new delivery information, and now we get the first product and get the stock of the first product, and then we get the weight of the first product. So basically here in this example plugin, the delivery information is just from the first product. If you would do this in live code, you maybe want to have the search through all of them for the one with the least stock and with the highest weight or whatever, you know, just to decide if you maybe want to remove the product because I know the stock is too low on product 75 or something like that. So yeah, in this case, the bundle just gets all the information from the first product. And then we set a quantity information that is empty. Okay. Next step is add missing products. Sorry. And we get here the bundle line item and the bundle itself. And the bundle has a get products method, the get IDs method, because, you know, many to many and stuff like this. So we iterate over every product that is in the bundle. We check if the product ID is already in the children of the bundle line item. So there are two things. The bundle line item is the thing that is in the cart, and the bundle is the thing that we just got from the database to look things up. So if the current product ID is already a child of our bundle line item in the cart, then obviously we already worked with it, so we can just continue. If the product is not yet a child of our bundle line item, down here we create a new line item, because now we want to have this child of the bundle line item. It gets the product ID. It is a line item type of a product line item. No, there is no comprehensive list of these. You have to search them right now. And then we set the payload of the product ID and we add a child to the bundle line item. So what this does is it iterates over all bundle products or products that are part of the bundle and adds them as child to the line item as a new line item. Okay, so that now we have theoretically these 3 products in this example as line items in the cart. Okay, so we are building the logic here to actually add something into the cart depending on what is already there. In this case, if there is a bundle, add the product as a line item child. Okay, where are we? Wait, I just lost track. There we are. Then the last thing that we need is this little thing down here. So when we edit all products, we add the discount, and this is basically the same as above. If there is no discount, so always make sure that this is not a recalculation and you already added this, because it could be that someone else is asking for a recalculation. And since the object didn't change that you're working on here, the cart didn't change from your perspective, just don't do it again. Because this way you will have multiple products. You would have then 6 times the products or something like that. So always make sure that the stuff you're working on is not already present. Okay, so if there is no product, no discount on the bundle line item, then we call create discount, and if there is a discount, then we add it as a child. Create discount is basically the same as we did it before. There's a little switch here, but first we check if there is a discount already, and then we get the discount type, and depending on the discount type, we are either doing an absolute price definition or a percentage price definition, and these again live here as a price struct in the cart, so it's Shopware code again. Oh, wait. Yeah, no. Oh, percental. Huh. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so we add the corresponding price definition. We set the discount here from the bundle data, and we set a label here. Of course, this is now hard-coded. You would do this with snippets as well. And if we don't know the discount type, there is a runtime exception. And then again, there's a new line item. We set the data from the discount as line item. It gets a price definition because this line item has a price, obviously. And since this is not a product, this is something that we have to do ourselves. Then we return the discount, and that's it. Okay. There we go. Okay, so this was the collect method. So now we have basically not only a bundle, but we have a bundle with 3 products and a discount in our line item collection that is called cart. And the second thing we are doing here is we have the process function. The process function gets the cart data collection. It gets the cart as original, then the cart as to calculate. This is the cart that we then calculate. We have the sales channel context and the cart behavior. So first things first, we again get all bundle line items from the original cart. We already know that one. If there are none, we just exit the function. Now that's a little bit shorter. For each of these bundle line items, we calculate all the prices. And this process function is basically called as late as possible and as few times as possible. Because this is a rather expensive function, so this should be called as few times as possible, and Shopware takes care of that. So there is a calculate child product prices, calculate discount prices, and calculate bundle price. And this is then added to the to calculate cart. Okay, we take a look at the functions. Calculate child product prices. We get the bundle line item and sales channel context. We don't need anything more. and for each line item, product line item type. Now what that does is we are filtering the children of the bundle line item. What are the children of a bundle line item? Products or discounts. Since this function is interested in the products, we are filtering all line items that are of type product line item. And so now we are sure that inside of the body of this for each loop, there are only products. Then we get the price definition from the line item, and then we set a price for the line item, and there we have this quantity price calculator, and this thing should calculate. The quantity price calculator, as you remember, there we go, is something that we got as an argument from the service container from Symfony. And this thing can calculate prices for us, so we give him the price definition and the context, and then we get a quantity price calculated. Something similar here goes for the calculate discount price. We only get the discount. If there is no discount, we return. For whatever reason, there may be no discount. If everything goes well, there should be a discount, but maybe some other rule or something just deleted that. Then we get the child prices. So for the bundle line item get children, we again get all products and the prices of these products. Then we get our price definition from the discount. If there is no price definition for the discount, we just leave. And then we switch this. If there's an absolute price definition, we calculate with the child prices. So basically what we do is we give all the child prices, and then we calculate our new absolute price. Or in the case of a percentage price definition, we want to get the percentage, and then we are using not the absolute price calculator, but the percentage price calculator, so that now for all the prices we are giving this Shopware core percentage price calculator, for all the prices we are getting the percentage price. Okay. Again, if there is anything else as type, then we just throw an exception. Maybe you want to do something else in production code. And then we just set the price for the discount that we just got from this calculation process here. The last part is the calculate bundle price. So we first get the unit price for the bundle line items, get children, get prices, sum. So we get a summary of all the prices from the children. So the children would be all products, and again, because we are not filtering here, the discount itself. Then we do a new quantity price definition. We get the total price from the unit price. We have the percentage text builder, the context, the bundle line item quantity. Then we set the price definition on the bundle line item, and we set the price on the bundle line item, so that we have this here. So what this does, the last part, is it creates this here. Yeah, okay. So one of the important things to note here is this works quite well. You know, you just throw a bunch of numbers at some price definition and it works out. And this only works because you're always giving context to these methods. So the context is one of the fundamentals in Shopware 6, because you can do stuff like this with it. Basically just things that look like magic. They aren't, of course. But since the context holds all the relevant information about who is doing this and what are the prices for this customer and stuff like this. You can just say calculate with these prices and this context, and let's go. Okay, so back to the original function. There we are at discount, and this is basically done for each bundle, and that's it. That's the whole process. This is a lot to take in, yes, but it makes more sense when you try and change a little bit of things around. So this is basically the core thing, or the most complicated thing about our plugin, as long as you do not look at the Vue.js part for the administration, but that is something we won't do today. Great. Okay, this was the bundle cart processor that does nothing more than just getting all the bundles, adding the products with the prices, adding a discount, and then recalculating everything to set a bundle price, which is awesome. Okay, then we have some few things left, like the aggregate function methods, objects here, or what's it called? The aggregate stuff. For example, we have a bundle product definition here. This is just a mapping, for the Swag bundle product. And we have this bundle translation. The bundle translation is the same as the bundle or something. This is just the entity definition I showed you at the beginning, just for the translation. So you have this definition again. You have translation entity, and you have translation collection. So everything that you introduce to the system, you have to define in this way, as long as it's about an entity. And yeah, bundle product definition is something special because this is a mapping entity definition. Oh yeah, this is something special as well, basically. Normally you extend from entity definition, like the bundle definition. Now, since this extends from mapping entity definition, it's exactly that. It maps two entities together. This is basically a PHP representation of a MySQL foreign key relationship, so to say. And this is something different as well, because this is from entity translation definition. So it does a lot more than a normal definition, because this is for translating stuff, but it stays more or less the same. You have the collection class, you have the entity name, you have the entity class, the parent definition class. This is something different, because the parent definition now is the thing we want to translate. This is an addition. But other than that, we still have the defined fields, and that's it. But this way, translation works seamlessly in Shopware 6, because even in your code, you can create an explicit translation for something, and things just work. The entity itself is relatively straightforward. It's again a collection of getters and setters and some fields. And the translation collection again is just an entity collection, which is fine. Okay, so this wraps up pretty much most of the parts. Let me look what I missed. The checkout bundle cart processor, yes, we did that extensively. Migrations, we did that, yes. Config, okay. Public is not that interesting, it's just JavaScript that you include. The views, basically we did that in the first part of this live stream or live stream recording, depending on when you watch this. What we do here is we extend the tabs in the front end so that we have a new tab that shows the bundle information. Here are some interesting parts, because, for example, in line 21, it checks if there is a product extension named bundles, which is interesting. So in this particular case, you can see how you check for an extension, because, as you know, the bundles are a product extension, more or less. It's an extension of the product. This way you can check for it, and if there are any, then it's shown, or if there are none, it's not shown. The whole tab. And this case here, we are including some boxes for the product, which is interesting. Wait. So you can include something like the standard box, and then you can set a variable, in this case product, and set it to something that you need, in this case the product that we are just iterating over. This case, this way you can show in your template, you can show product boxes with data that you set. So you basically You have these bundles, and you get the products from the bundles, and then you just show them one by one, which is nice. You have some form stuff going on. In this case, you are adding products to the cart, which is quite interesting. And the last part is the product page criteria subscriber. This is the last thing we will be looking at. We are quite early today, but that's okay. We still have to figure out how long these live streams actually last, since there is no interaction between you and me. Okay, so last part here is the product page criteria subscriber, and this is the only real kernel event subscriber we are using here. And when we take a look at it, we just define basically the file and what it is, in this case an event subscriber. And when we look at this, what it does is it has a get subscribed events, and what it returns is the product page criteria event name, and the function that should be called if this product page criteria event is emitted. So you could have multiple events here, whatever, but there is no comprehensive list of this at the moment. There may be in the future, but currently there is no list of all events throughout Shopware 6. We are working on it. Okay, great. Now the function itself is really basic. This is called whenever a product page is rendered or is put together, and on product criteria loaded, we are adding our own criteria. So the criteria, you remember, this is something to determine which things should be loaded from the database and which should not be loaded from the database. So in this case, we add an association part, bundles, products, cover, and that's it. And I'm not sure about the cover part actually. But this is obviously the part. We will look for this. I'm not sure why it's cover. But I will find out in a light and tell you this in a later live stream. It would be too long to now find this out. Okay, but what we are doing is we are adding basically the associated products, the bundle products, and then we can access them in our page. Okay, so far so good. This was pretty quick. In the future, we will be repeating this live stream when there are changes or when there are more features that are worth explaining. And then we will update you on a regular basis so that you can keep up with the changes in Shopware 6. Okay, thank you for being here today or for watching this as a recording. It was a pleasure to show you around Shopware 6, which is an awesome product, I think. Thank you.